let's have a look at the Penrith and St George game, and oh dear, what about this one for a disappointing game of football?
We had a look at this, and the small crowd there, over 2,500 there, reflected what the feeling was of the game, but it was a first for the Penrith side, and it's the first time since they've been in the competition that they beat St George on their home ground.
And Penrith's first win since they defeated Manly in the 11 weeks back.
Well, that's a double celebration there, but they were down 10-7 at half-time. St George had the best of the penalties by far and of the scrums, and it must have been disappointing for the St George fans that were there, and Coach Masters, that the great St George side got humbled in that fashion, because Penrith scored 16 points to 0 in the second half.
One of the things that stunned me, Barry pointed this out to me, was Brad Waugh's first try. He goes up the blind side, and there's only two backs in front of him.
There is not a St George forward in sight.
Not one forward on the blind side of a ruck. I just don't believe that. In the old days, would have been like running into a meat grinder to go up the blind side against St George as a forward.
All the old specialist forwards always take the blind side because it's the closest.
The closest, yeah. Less distance to run.
The young hooker from Penrith, who's got a lot of raps this year, particularly from his coach John Peard, Royce Simmons, how did he play?
He's very good. I think Royce Simmons must come into calculations for the Kangaroo Tour, because it not only is a hooker, and an excellent hooker, and gets his percentages of the ball, he's a utility player. He can play him anywhere, and his defence is impeccable.
And what about Craig Young?
Craig Young, Craig Young was a competent game there, but he's come back with a vengeance there. But Craig Young is essential, playing well to be in the Kangaroos, the team. He's a must, because he's the cornerstone on which they build that.
Got to be the first prop chosen.
Well, it was a pretty classy performance by Penrith, just the same, wasn't it?
Penrith, when you look at Penrith's efforts this year, they have been beaten. They sort of took the mantle off North Sydney for finding how to get beaten, but Penrith could have easily notched up 6 out of the last 12 games, which are 8 wins that they had it in the bag, I feel.
A lot of credit to them that they haven't turned it up after so many defeats in a row too.
Well, it must have been very satisfying to beat St George at Cogra.
It was indicative, as you pointed out, there was 2,500 people at the ground. For a St George match, that's practically unheard of, I'd say. And
well, a couple of things.
How
bad for rugby league.
I came and had a look at all the videotape of this game and every other game. Brett Ford, a prop forward I haven't seen play before, was a very lively customer in this game for the Penrith side. Do you agree?
He played well.
A very strong player, and he's one of those young front row forwards that when he takes the ball up, he'll look to unload at the end, which always grabs my attention. I love to see the people that unload. I just think it's a bit sad that young Casey, the centre in the St George side, is being saddled with a goal-kicking duty so early in his career. He doesn't need that sort of pressure, really, does he?
Well, we've got no one else.
Well, perhaps that's the case, and obviously Roy Masters knows better than I about that.